What if the biggest financial mistake of your life has nothing to do with your salary, nothing to do with your investments, and nothing to do with luck? What if it's something so invisible that most people spend 40 years never realizing it happened to them, and by the time they do, they've already traded their freedom for a lifestyle they can barely afford? Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you changes everything. Picture this. It's a Tuesday morning. You're 55 years old, sitting on a warm beach somewhere beautiful. There's nowhere you have to be, no alarm that went off, no boss waiting on a reply, no paycheck you're depending on. You retired early, not because you got lucky, not because you inherited anything, but because 20 years ago, you made one simple decision. That's where this story begins. Imagine two people, same age, same college, same company, same paycheck, same desk, just a few feet apart. 40 years later, one is that person on the beach, retired at 55, completely free. The other is 65 years old, still setting an alarm every weekday morning, not because they love the job, because they simply cannot afford to stop. Neither won the lottery, neither got an inheritance, neither built a billion-dollar company. They earned almost exactly the same money over their entire careers. So, what created that gap that size? Here's the part that will shock you. It wasn't intelligence. It wasn't income. It wasn't even discipline. Not really. It came down to one question each person asked themselves on their very first payday. Meet Alex and Ben, 25 years old, both hired at $60,000 a year. Similar apartments, similar cars, same social circle. From the outside, their lives were identical, but on payday, something quietly split their futures forever. Ben looked at his balance and thought, finally, now I can start living. Alex looked at his and asked, how much of this belongs to my future self? That's it. That single question. That's the entire difference between retiring at 55 and working until 65. Before Ben spent a single dollar, he already spent everything in his head. New phone, better car, nicer apartment. I've earned this. Before Alex spent a single dollar, he automatically transferred 15% of every paycheck into a retirement account. Not if there was leftover money, before anything else. Now here's something most people completely misunderstand about building wealth. It doesn't require incredible willpower. It doesn't require obsessively tracking every dollar. It requires fewer decisions. When saving is automatic, you never have to choose. The system works for you every single month, whether you feel motivated or not, whether you remember or not. Ben told himself he'd start investing once he earned more. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's what actually happened. Next year, same excuse. Year after that, same excuse. 5 years later, still waiting for the right time. Have you ever noticed that later has a quiet way of becoming never? 5 years passed. Both received raises. Both earned more than they ever imagined in college. Ben celebrated with a luxury apartment, financed a better car, added subscriptions, upgrades, nicer restaurants. Each purchase felt completely reasonable on its own, but together, every single raise quietly disappeared. Alex got the same raises, but instead of upgrading his lifestyle every time, he upgraded his investments. He still went on vacation, still ate out, still enjoyed his money, but his spending always grew slower than his income. That gap, that's where wealth is built. This has a name: lifestyle inflation. The more you earn, the more you spend. The bigger the paycheck, the bigger the bills. Think about right now, how many things do you pay for today that didn't even exist in your life 5 years ago? Another subscription, a nicer phone plan, food delivery, a newer car, a bigger place. Each one feels small, but together they become financial quicksand.
slowly pulling you under while feeling completely normal. Neutral storytelling. 10 years in, Alex has been investing consistently every single month. Market went up, he stayed invested. Market went down, he stayed invested. He ignored the headlines, he just kept going. Ben finally decides it's time to start. He opens an investment calculator. Then he sees a number that stops him cold. Alex's portfolio is already far larger than expected. How? He didn't invest more money. He didn't pick better stocks. He just started earlier. Here's the image I want you to hold on to. Imagine planting 2 trees, one today, one 5 years from now. Even if you water them exactly the same after that, the first tree will always be ahead. Money works the same way. The earlier it's invested, the longer it has to grow. And then something incredible happens. Your money starts making money. That money makes more money. That money makes even more money. That's compounding. It feels boring for years, almost invisible, but give it enough time and it becomes unstoppable. Empathetic and honest. Most people quit before they ever reach that point. They want a transformation in 12 months. Wealth doesn't reward excitement. It rewards patience. Neutral storytelling. At 40, both Alex and Ben are earning 6 figures. Casual and slightly sarcastic. Ben finally feels rich, upgrades to a luxury SUV, buys a bigger house, and starts carrying credit card balances because the income makes it manageable. But debt doesn't care how much you earn. Interest works against you every single month, silently. Casual contrast. Alex also earns 6 figures, but instead of expanding every expense, he expands his investments. Reasonable mortgage, reliable car. He cares more about owning assets than impressing people who don't pay his bills. But here's what almost nobody ever thinks about. Every expensive purchase has 2 price tags. The first is what you pay today. The second is invisible. It's what that money could have become if it had stayed invested for the next 20 or 30 years. Building to shock. That $50,000 luxury SUV at average market returns over 30 years, it could represent $300,000 or more in lost investment growth. $300,000 for a car. Calm and educational. That's called opportunity cost. Slow and heavy. And because it's invisible, it's the most dangerous cost of all. Warm and cinematic. Alex at 55. 30 years of consistent investing. Home paid off. Nearly 0 debt.
His portfolio generates more income than his lifestyle costs. He didn't retire because he was old. He retired because work became optional. That's the real dream. Not just retiring someday, but choosing exactly when you stop, on your own terms. Ben at 55. Salary higher than ever, but so are his expenses. Still has a mortgage, car payments, credit card balances, a lifestyle that demands a paycheck every single month. He can't retire, not because he didn't work hard enough, not because he earned enough, because he spent almost everything he earned. At 65, Ben is still healthy enough to enjoy retirement, but financially unable to stop working. He worked just as hard as Alex, maybe harder. His mistake wasn't laziness, wasn't bad luck, wasn't even bad investing. It was one belief, that a bigger paycheck automatically creates wealth. It doesn't. Your paycheck can make you comfortable. Your habits make you wealthy. Here's the truth that should change everything for you. You don't need a 6-figure income to start. You don't need the perfect investment account. You don't need to predict the market. You don't need to wait until next year. Start with one habit. Pay your future self first, before rent, before groceries, before everything else. Set it to automatic, even if it's just 5%, even if it's $50 a month.
Because the amount matters far less than the moment you decide to begin. Every time your income increases, invest a piece of it before your lifestyle expands to claim it. Stay invested through the boring years, through the years when nothing seems to be happening, because those are exactly the years compounding is quietly building your future. And above everything else, give your money time, because time is the one asset that money can never buy back. 20 years from now, you'll either look back grateful you started today, or you'll look back wishing you hadn't waited. That decision starts with your very next paycheck. So here's my question for you. If your paycheck arrived today, would your future self thank you for what you did with it, or wonder where it all went? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if this gave you something to think about, subscribe. New money lessons every week. Simple, honest, actionable. The beach at 55, or the alarm at 65. Same salary, same career, two completely different lives. The only thing that separates them is what you decide to do on payday, starting today.